to Sunday.
It's hard to explain, okay? But
All day. All year round.
it's so mysterious.
This is who we are.
This is who we are.
WADR.
News, talk, music, get it all
24 hours.
on West Africa Democracy Radio. 94.9 FM Dakar.
WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's 6 p.m. in Dakar. Good evening and welcome to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and across the world at wadr.org. First, our top stories. Malian Foreign Minister Diop meets with diplomatic corps in Bamako over ongoing fuel and security crisis. The German government supports ECOWAS with a 49 million euro envelope to promote regional peace and security. Nigerian Senate advances bill to replace petrol cars with electric vehicles.
I have been driving an electric car for 7 years. I was one of those who bought the very first Tesla when it was manufactured.
If the whole world is now using electric cars, who will develop petrol cars for Nigeria?
And the World Food Programme, WFP, and Japan declare vital food assistance for Gambians.
If they don't have this, they're going to resort to some coping mechanisms. So to prevent those negative coping mechanisms is to assist them. And when they have this, they will not do that.
Stay with us for details of these stories and more.
Here is Abdullahi Hassan with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast. Newslink begins in Mali, where the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Abdullahi Diop, engaged with the diplomats accredited to Bamako on Wednesday. The meeting aimed to review the evolution of the security situation and the difficulties in the supply of petroleum products. This comes after several countries last week called on their nationals to immediately evacuate Mali due to the worsening security situation marked by JNIM attacks on the main supply routes into the country. Imoradet reports.
During this meeting with diplomats accredited in Mali, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Abdoulaye Diop, presented the measures taken by the government to secure the corridors linking Mali to the ports of Abidjan, Dakar and Conakry. These are the routes through which fuel enters the country. The Malian Foreign Minister indicated that the armed forces, in coordination with member countries of the Confederation of Sahel States, are continuing escort operations and efforts to neutralize armed groups active along these routes. According to Abdoulaye Diop, the recent JNIM attacks represent a shift in strategy targeting economic infrastructure and the transport of goods, a way for the terrorist group to suffocate the national economy. The ambassadors present welcomed the meeting, which they considered useful for a better understanding of the situation. They expressed their support for the Malian government's efforts to stabilize the country's fuel supply chain. This meeting comes as several embassies have recently called on their nationals to evacuate Mali. This includes the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, Canada, and Australia. They cite the deteriorating security situation on the country's main roads. Over the past 2 months, terrorist attacks on trucks transporting fuel from Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire have increased. This has created a fuel shortage in the capital Bamako and in several other regions of the country, slowing many economic activities. Added to this are power outages, which in some places can last several days. This is the case in the city of Mopti in the center of the country.
Imoradet with that report filed in by WADR's Aliyu Cham in Bamako. Staying in the Sahel, Transparency International is demanding the unconditional release of 3 journalists detained by the Nigerian State Security Forces in the Tillaberi region. This demand was contained in a statement issued on Wednesday by the Nigerian Association for the Fight Against Corruption and the local chapter of Transparency International. The organization argues that the authorities have not provided a valid justification for the arrest and imprisonment of the media professionals. Christopher Ticho reports.
The journalists involved are Ibro Chebu, editorial secretary of the Sarawonia Press Group, Yusuf Seriba, director of the online media outlet Les Echos du Niger, and Umaru Kani, director of the newspaper Le Harrison. They were placed under arrest warrant on Monday, November 3, 2025. In a statement, Transparency International condemns this action as a blatant violation of Niger's international commitments and a serious assault on freedom of expression. The organization states that this detention aimed to silence dissenting voices and weaken the media's role as a counterbalance to power. It highlights that Niger is a signatory to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which guarantees freedom of expression under Article 19. The anti-corruption group also emphasized that in a country where journalists are imprisoned for doing their jobs, corruption can flourish with impunity. Transparency International, however, demands that all charges against the arrested journalist be dropped and calls on the authorities to cease the harassment of media professionals.
Christopher Teacher reporting there. Elsewhere, Cameroonian President Paul Biya was sworn in on Thursday for a new term following validation of the October 12 presidential election last week by the Constitutional Council. Biya was sworn in before both houses of parliament meeting in Congress in Yaoundé. Aged 92, the Cameroonian head of state assured during the investiture ceremony that he will spare no effort to continue to be worthy of the trust of his compatriots. Official results proclaimed by the Constitutional Council on October 27 indicates that Paul Biya received 53.66% of the votes compared to 31.19% for his main challenger, Issa Chiroma Bakari, of the Front for the National Salvation of Cameroon.
On this day, as I begin a new term, I would like to extend my hand to each and every one of you. Together, we must lay the foundations for an even more promising future for our dear and beautiful country, especially for our youth. I therefore call for a sacred union. Join me so that together, in peace and harmony, we can take on the tremendous challenges facing our nation. The presidential electoral contest is now behind us. The time has come for unity. Enough of these hateful speeches that dominate the public space. I plan to implement, from the first months of this September, a special program to promote youth employment. Its main components will be as follows. First, the establishment of administrative and tax incentives for private companies in return for their obligation to hire young people, and the strengthening of support and guidance mechanisms for youth in the design, implementation, and financing of their projects.
An extract of Cameroonian President Paul Biya's speech during his swearing-in ceremony today. Meanwhile, Bakari, now exiled in neighboring country, according to media sources, continues to claim victory and denounces post-election violence. Still in Central Africa, 5 army generals in Chad have been accused of attempting to bribe an investigating judge who appeared in court on November 5. The closed-door trial took place at the Klesum Detention Center near N'Djamena, where the officers have been held since late September. They are accused of offering 100 million CFA to secure the release of Muhammad Masarhoud, a former treasurer in Abéché who is facing charges of embezzling more than 6 billion CFA francs. Among the accused generals is reportedly Hood's father. During the hearing, defense lawyers requested a confrontation with the judge, while the prosecution argued that the N'Djamena High Court had no jurisdiction in the case. A verdict is expected on November 12.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Remember, we stream live on YouTube and Facebook at WADR English. Germany says it is enhancing its strategic partnership with ECOWAS through a newly announced financial package of 49 million euros. The envelope is focused on fostering peace, security, and socio-economic development across West Africa. This funding commitment followed bilateral development cooperation talks held on November 4 and 5, 2025, at the ECOWAS Secretariat in Abuja, Nigeria. In a joint statement, ECOWAS and Germany reaffirmed their strong and enduring partnership while expressing their intent to deepen collaboration in promoting good governance, regional stability, and sustainable growth. The German contribution will be allocated to various regional initiatives aimed at strengthening health systems, driving economic development, and consolidating peace within the ECOWAS member countries. Nigeria is making a bold and debated move toward transforming its transportation sector. On Wednesday, the Nigerian Senate advanced the Electric Vehicle Transition and Green Mobility Bill 2025 to its second reading. This initiative aims to gradually phase out petrol-powered vehicles, potentially establishing the country as a central hub for electric vehicle production across the continent. From Abuja, Usman Umar reports.
The proposed legislation, sponsored by Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, aims to establish a national framework for Nigeria's transition to electric mobility. According to lawmakers, this bill, when enacted into law, will require international automakers to partner with licensed Nigerian assemblers to set up local plants and source at least 30% of their components domestically by 2030. Ben Mure Bruce, a former senator and electric vehicle user advocate, shares insight about this initiative.
Nigeria must be prepared and understand that the cars we drive today are dinosaurs. It's like anybody giving you a contract to buy a VCR. Nobody's going to buy it. You can make it, nobody's going to buy it. It's an obsolete technology.
However, cross-sections of Nigerians are expressing optimism and skepticism regarding the affordability, energy supply, and infrastructure readiness for electric vehicles.
It's a good initiative, all right, but I think we should run before we start flying as a nation. What Ben Bruce has suggested is noble, all right, and it shows that he's a thinking person. But as a country, we have at this point, we have plenty challenges, we have plenty issues. I don't think electric car is the problem of Lagosians.
We're an economy dependent on petrol. If the whole world is now using electric cars, who will develop petrol cars for Nigeria?
Energy experts and economists believe that if the Electric Vehicle Transition and Green Mobility Bill is passed into law, it could signify a pivotal moment in Nigeria's transportation evolution, steering the nation towards cleaner roads and sustainable growth. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
Let's now take you to the Gambia, where over 9,000 individuals affected by recent floods and climate shocks are set to receive essential food assistance. The process began on Wednesday with the United Nations World Food Programme, with support from the government of Japan, launching this food assistance project in the country. The ceremony took place in Basse, the Upper River region. It brought together flood victims and government representatives, including local citizens groups. Sankule Janko reports.
This initiative aims to assist more than 1,100 households, benefiting over 9,000 people who've been affected by recent floods and windstorms across the country. Suleiman S.S. Jame is the head of WFP in the Basse office.
Most of them are farmers who actually must have cultivated their rice or groundnut, and they are not harvesting to benefit them now. So if they don't have this, they're going to resort for some coping mechanisms.
Each household will receive monthly food rations for 3 months, including 72 kilograms of rice, 7.2 kilograms of beans, iodized salt, and 5 liters of fortified oil. Bubakar Fufana from the Gambia's National Disaster Management Agency says the support comes at a crucial time as families continue to recover from the devastating floods that occurred this year.
We are targeting female-headed households. We are targeting households headed by widows, households headed by children, households headed by chronically ill people.
For beneficiaries, the food assistance provides a sense of hope.
Praise be to Allah, this support is a great addition to our sustenance, especially for the children. We are truly happy and we want to thank them sincerely. It will greatly ease the burden of providing food for our families.
The food distribution project, funded by the government of Japan through WFP, runs from October to December, supporting affected communities nationwide.
We do have more discussion on this assistance in our guest interview in the later part of the news. Let's now take you to Ghana. As President John Mahama announces a major expansion of the country's prisons services to undertake large-scale farming, poultry and vegetable production as part of a wider prison reform program. Speaking at the commissioning of the Damango prison camp on Wednesday, President Mahama said the initiative is designed to make the prison service a key contributor to Ghana's 24-hour economy while improving the welfare and rehabilitation of inmates. He also revealed that the daily feeding allowance for inmates has been significantly increased from 1 cedi 80 pesewas to 5 cedis, describing the move as a matter of justice and human dignity rather than charity. As part of these reforms, the Ghanaian leader said his government is working to complete the 800 inmate capacity remand prison at Nswam, which was initiated by the previous administration in 2016 but has since been left abandoned.
The Ghana Prison Service will actively contribute to the 24-hour economy by running prison industries around the clock. This will include sewing school uniforms, manufacturing furniture, agro-processing, and other goods both for government use and for the open market. This initiative will not only generate income to sustain the service, but will also equip inmates with the practical skills for life after their release. In agriculture, the prison service is being supported to engage in large-scale farming, including poultry and vegetable production. The government is providing fertilizer and mechanized equipment to improve productivity over the next 3 years. And so the prison service is going to receive agricultural tractors and implements so that they can activate their prison camps. As you were told, we've also increased the daily feeding rate for inmates from 1 cedi 80 pesos to 5 Ghana cedis. This will provide better nutrition for those incarcerated in prison. This is not charity, it is justice. It reflects our belief that dignity should never be dependent on one's.
President John Mahama of Ghana. You are listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM Dakar, Senegal. We are live at wadr.org. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Malian Foreign Minister Job meets with diplomatic corps in Bamako over ongoing fuel and security crisis. The German government supports ECOWAS with a €49 million envelope to promote regional peace and security. The Nigerian Senate advances bill to replace petrol cars with electric vehicles, and the World Food Programme and Japan declare vital food assistance for Gambians. Still in the news, we have the guest interview and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Many thanks for staying with us. In Liberia, the government is preparing to host the 2025 National Agriculture Value Chain Program. Scheduled to begin on December 9, this major initiative is designed to boost the country's agricultural sector and strengthen partnerships with international stakeholders. It also seeks to create opportunities for smallholder and industrial farmers to display their potential and showcase their farming produce. From Monrovia, WADR's Abraham Parker reports.
A calling to authorities, the 2025 National Aquaculture Value Chain Program aims to attract investors to the cassava sector with plans to establish a starter factory that will help increase farmers' incomes. Making the disclosure, Liberia's Agriculture Minister Alexander Nuta said during the event, local farmers will showcase their produce in the presence of international partners, including the Food and Agriculture Organization.
We've also got assurance that the president of Tuskegee University in the United States is going to be visiting us.
Ahead of the event, the minister highlighted advancements in the agricultural sector, such as the cultivation of over 10,000 hectares of land for cocoa production in Bong, Lofa, and Nimba as part of the National Agricultural Development Program.
Our target for the NADP for cocoa has been 20,000 hectares, but at this level we've done well. It is our expectation that by 2025 we have done more. We are encouraging investors to come here. For the cassava sector, for example, we've been able to attract some investors who will be doing the starch factory here to enable our farmers generate more income for themselves.
The Liberian government says the 5-day event is expected to create more opportunities for smallholder and commercial farmers to scale up their production. For Newslink on WADR, April Parker, Monrovia.
And now to environmental matters. Let's turn to Lomé, the capital of Togo, as stakeholders in the environmental protection sector are mobilizing this week around the United Nations project for capacity building in plastic pollution reduction. This initiative marks a new stage in Togo's fight against the global scourge. The ultimate goal is to validate a national action plan for the sustainable management of plastic products and waste across the country and beyond. Augustine Kwele tells us more.
Every year, more than 400 million tons of plastic are produced worldwide. Half of this amount consists of single-use plastics and less than 10% is recycled. Togo is among many countries facing this challenge. To tackle this issue, the country is implementing a project supported by the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) aimed at enhancing national capacities to reduce plastic pollution. For several days, experts, decision makers, and representatives from civil societies have been reviewing the legal framework and compiling an inventory of pollution sources. Pageban Tuameba, head of the Climate Change Division at UNDP, says the life cycle of plastic, from production to disposal, is also a key focus of the discussions. Since 2011, Togo has been intensifying its efforts to limit non-biodegradable plastics and promote ecological alternatives.
A report by WADR's Lomé correspondent Sylvie Ouedraogo and voiced by Augustine Kwele.
Politics,
analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is The Guest.
The guest segment this evening takes us back to the Gambia, where the United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, with support from the government of Japan and in partnership with the government, has delivered vital food assistance to Gambian families hit hardest by floods and climate shocks. The nationwide initiative was officially launched on Wednesday in Bassi, Upper River Region. The new emergency food assistance project is targeting more than 1,100 households and over 9,000 people across the country affected by recent floods and windstorms. Sambaba is the governor of Upper River Region, one of the hardest hit areas in the country.
I'm so happy in as much as when you look at it, these are people that you know that they are within the poverty line. They are highly affected as far as disasters are concerned and other issues are concerned. And if today NDMA with WFP, that's Government of the Gambia, because NDMA is under the Government of the Gambia, and WFP are able to coordinate, make sure that they support at least these victims or vulnerable people, I call them, to at least boost their lives and livelihood. I think that is a sign of joy and happiness. So that is where we are, because this is a lean support. When you look at it, we are just about to leave the rainy season. And there are some of the crops that are already ready. But when you look at it, the processing aspect of it has not been done. So it is a critical period, a period where people are harvesting, but at the same time, you've not gotten it yet for you to at least eat. So as a result, supporting these people at that particular time is crucial. The items that are being shared today, distributed today, they are very vital as far as our daily consumption is concerned, because you have to look at it. Rice is available, oil is available. So all these compositions, when you look at it, is there to help the nutritional aspect of the people.
Honorable, how prone is your region to disasters?
Yes, the region definitely is very vulnerable to disasters, knowing the fact that, one, we have what we call, sometimes we experience flood, which is not regular, but once in a while we experience flood. And sometimes also when you look at it, we also experience sometimes windstorms. These are things, and then not only that, but also even fire disasters. So these three things are the ones that culminated the highest number of the disaster victims as far as URR is concerned. But definitely when it comes to flood, for example, last year, there was a serious flood in Upper River region where most of the agricultural produce and whatsoever, they all perished. Because when some crops were about to mature, for example, the rice, and then inundation took place, and then they were all covered and they all, perished. So this was something that it was difficult for my people to come out of that, what we call situation. But alhamdulillah, and this year, as it is stated, yes, we have some little bit of problems like flood and so, but it's not as much as last year. And when you looked at it also, the harvest for this year, everybody's expecting a bumper harvest. Compared to what happened, it was last year, it was devastating, but this year we are expecting a bumper harvest.
Right. Finally, before I let you go, I know you're in a hurry. What steps is your office and the government and authorities are taking to ensure to mitigate or to probably prepare better for disasters in the future?
One of the things that we are doing is, the whole of the rainy season, you will hear tree planting exercise. And now we are not only doing tree planting exercise, but also we are trying to make sure that it is now tree growing. When you plant the tree, let it grow up to the highest level. Because with that, you can be able to overcome windstorms. And also when you look at it, some of these things, the floods that normally takes place, the reason why they are affecting us is because they don't have protection. Sometimes when you look at it, we have to make sure that we manage our waste management. Some of these things are the ones that block what we call culverts, and as a result, the water will swell and then gets into people's compound. So there were a series of sensitization that took place here, and we also have what we call NDMA and other agencies, NEA, and then area council, whom you know that they are doing extremely well in making sure that at least people are sensitized and they are aware as to what they should do in order we mitigate. But the other part of it also, we have to understand, some of these disasters, they are difficult to control. So this is what it's not a man-made thing. Like these are things that that they occur naturally. So for that one, it will be difficult. But what we always tell people, preparedness is always very good. You prepare the person's mind and mentality so that when it strikes, you will know how to overcome it. So these are all things that we have done. And definitely we have seen this year, we have improved a lot compared to what we call last year.
Sam Baba, Governor of the Upper River region in the Gambia. In the world of sport, Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen has scored his first Champions League hat-trick, bagging 3 goals as Galatasaray trounced the Dutch outfield Ajax 3-0 on Wednesday night. The Super Eagle opened the score sheet in the 59th minute of the game with a header. Osimhen converted from the spot in the 66th minute and completed the hat-trick 12 minutes later after another penalty. In the last match day in the Champions League, the Nigerians scored a brace as Galatasaray, Turkish champions, beat Bodo Glimt 3-1. The victory was the Turkish Giants' third win in a row in the competition, following a victory against Liverpool in match day 3, where Osimhen also scored the winner. And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Mustafa Sek and Ismaila Kamara for the technical support. Do interact with us via social media platforms X, Instagram, and Facebook at WADR English. We stream live at wadr.org. Coming up at the bottom of the hour is a rebroadcast of WADR's Environment Program and Viroscope. I'm Abdullahi Hassan. Good evening.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, Newmi FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Niba County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Baf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your